I'm Nick Gallo, a USA Hockey Level 4 coach, a former WHL scout, and lifelong hockey guy. It's been a dream getting to work in the hockey world, but I also like to have a little fun. Okay, a lot of fun. Welcome to Holding Court. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another Holding Court video. I just wanted to recap a little bit of the Rookie Tournament. The first thing I wanted to point out was the Kings and Ducks matchup. The first big thing that stuck out to me, like I pointed out in the last video about the prospects, Rob Blake has assembled a group that is very skillful and perhaps somewhat undersized, not very physical. So that kind of comes with the territory usually when you're drafting purely for skill. So with the Kings and Ducks matchup, it really did look a lot like men versus boys out there. The Ducks had a ton of NHL game experience in some of their guys. They have guys who are right there and are NHL players playing in the tournament, whereas the Kings really didn't. So there was that. A defenseman that stood out to me for the Ducks was Hunter Drew. He was running around a bit out there, and I say that in a good way. He was making his presence known. He's playing super physical, but this is also a guy who's very capable of putting up points as a D-man. Hunter Drew was always in the mix out there. It was a big reason that there was such a huge mismatch between the Kings and the Ducks physically, but the Kings really had zero punishing defenders, and it really showed. The only Kings goalie that had a good performance was Jacob Ingham. Matt Villalta didn't have a good performance, and in the third game against the Sharks, Lucas Perrick, who I loved at development camp, he had an even worse performance. I mean, yeah, Perrick's going to want that performance back big time. He was fighting the puck, had a bad start, and it just never got better for him. So it happens. He's an 18-year-old goalie. Not the end of the world. Big, tough D-man for Colorado, Josh Anderson. He played some pro games last year in the ECHL. He was actually on Team Chara, which I coached at the Prince George Cougars training camp a few seasons ago when I was scouting for the team. He was a legit one of the most imposing heavyweights in the WHL for a while there. Pretty solid D-man. Reminds me a bit of Curtis McDermott on the Kings, to be honest. You know, just a guy who could scrap with the best of them, and is just a stay-at-home guy who's going to make the forwards think twice about going into the corners. Along with Josh Anderson, there was another prospect in this tournament who was up in Prince George during my time there, and that was Brad Morrison, a forward who suited up for the Kings in this tournament, and I really liked him. Brad Morrison was always a point-scoring forward in the WHL. The thing about Brad Morrison, if you watch one or two of his games, you say, oh, he's a skill player. Total skill player. Well, he's not afraid to drop the gloves. He dropped the gloves in this tournament. He doesn't shy away from the rough stuff, even though he has the skill that would afford him the luxury of doing so, but he does it anyway. So I like that about Brad Morrison, and like I said, I think he played a good tournament. A few guys I wanted to talk about on the San Jose Sharks really quick. Jake McGrew, who I watched a ton of because he played for the LA Junior Kings and was a top player for them, and every time I would go to the rink to watch the Junior Kings, I always really looked forward to watching Jake McGrew because he was he would put on a show. He was just kind of a step ahead. Him and his buddy Cole Gutman, who is a Tampa Bay Lightning draft pick. He had a great season in Spokane, and I think he's a bit slept on. So he was a 6-rounder. Usually don't get a ton of hype and praise and things like that, but he's quietly a very good prospect for the Sharks, and he had a good tournament. He put up some points. Nikolai Nijov. Tell me that's not a damn good name. Boy, I love that name. Anyways, when I was scouting, I remember getting some intel saying, hey, there's a Russian defenseman from St. Petersburg playing in Arizona. You should go check him out. He's really good. Drove out to AZ. I watched the Arizona State Championship. Watched Nikolai Nijov. He was outstanding. What a skater. Impressed the hell out of me. Just looked like one of those guys who It's just a notch up. Just kind of a notch up from everyone else on the ice. It was really cool to see him sign with the Sharks recently and attend this camp. I did not get to watch him play, but from every time before I've watched him, I really liked him a lot. Keaton Middleton played in the AHL last year. Boy, he looked good. That is a big defenseman who has a stick that he could poke check you if you're in the fucking hot dog line. Big, tough D-man, and I really like the way he defended. He played the position well, and not only that, but he was skating out there and he was moving the puck. Now, yeah, that's kind of a lot of boxes checked for a defenseman. A big guy who could throw his body around, overpower guys, has a good stick to defend, and can skate. Yeah, I really like Keaton Middleton a lot. I think the Sharks have a good D-man right there. Now to get into the, I guess, meat of this video, I'm assuming most of the viewers are Kings fans. Overall, there was a lot of skill there. A lot of dominating shifts. There was the second period in the third game against the Sharks. The Kings came out and it was like the Sharks couldn't touch the damn puck. It was keep away on a high level. Keep away with very good skill in passing and puck movement as far as individual performances. Like I mentioned in the development camp video, Johan Sodergran looked really good again. I like his puck possession. He's a kind of a big, lanky guy, and he likes to hang on to the puck and make plays, and I think he's capable of doing that. With a little bit more development, I think that guy could be an NHL player. The guy I would have liked to have seen a little more out of, Rasmus Kupari. I think he has the tools and he has the resume to have been a relatively dominant player in this tournament. But I just never really saw him taking over much at all. He made a couple flashes that I really liked, but didn't really wow me. I feel like Jared Anderson-Dolan a little bit left that same impression with me, but definitely I feel like he made his presence more known than Kupari. Akil Thomas was another guy who probably should have been one of the better players of the tournament. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. He did score a nice goal in that San Jose game. That was a setup. This is a guy who's pretty highly touted, and like Kupari has a good track record to where he should have came in and really opened some eyes. But Blake Lizotte, again impressed the hell out of me. This guy flies, like I said before, but he was making all kinds of shit happen out there. And, I mean, this was a guy, just his hustle, and he just looked like he wanted it, and he wanted to make an impression, and he wanted to make an impression bad. That's kind of just the vibe I got from his game. He was all over the place. 100%, every shift, every play. I saw that some of the Kings staff also said he was head and shoulders above everyone else on the team. So I agree with that, definitely. So Kings fans who maybe aren't super in the loop with the prospects, or even more so the camp invites, Jonathan Yancey, I really like this guy. Big forward, put up 50 goals in the OHL last year. Power forward, he thrives around the net. There was a goal in the San Jose game where Yancey is just right in front disturbing the goalie, and I feel like he plays that role very well. I would be very shocked if Yancey did not get an Ontario rain deal. Actually, I think that would be a mistake. Kaliev had some flashes, but didn't blow me away or get me super excited about him, but I know he's a hell of a goal scorer and not concerned about him. As far as the D-man, I saw a lot of people high on this year's first rounder, Tobias Bjornfoot. I agree with a lot of the assessment on him. He can skate and he can move the puck up ice. One thing, though, I really didn't like was the first goal in the Kings and Ducks game, where it looked to me like Bjornfoot was real soft in front of the net defending, and there was a screen set in front of Villalta, and it just seemed like Bjornfoot just didn't get physical. You would like to see a D-man there, box that guy out, move him, let Villalta see the puck. It's a little bit of something you want to watch going forward. Mikey Anderson, I really liked. Kind of played a solid but nothing amazing game. Austin Strand I really liked. Aside from all the other Kings defensemen, I feel like Austin Strand was probably the most physical, which was nice. They definitely needed that. He put up decent points in Ontario last season, so there's some skill there. He's a former WHL guy. I noticed several screens that resulted in goals against the Kings, which goes back to if you don't have those stay at home, you have maybe the smaller D-man, the puck moving guys, they're typically not going to be great at moving that screen in front of the goalie, allowing him to see the puck. So there was a little bit of a theme there. It was a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good one.